Now, us as Arsenal fans at times might feel like things are just not going too well and we're just in a really bad position. But things could be a lot worse. We could be in Everton's position, who are not in the best of places right now. Welcome to Analysing Arsenal. Once again, these are my thoughts and feelings regarding the game at Godison Park that has just taken place in the Premier League, which saw Arsenal comfortably in the end beat Everton by 5-2. And I say comfortably, in the end we get 5 goals, and absolutely just a superb performance really from start to finish by the boys. Really, really proud of them. A great performance, great win nonetheless, and we came up against a team in basically disarray really, but got ourselves a win, showed a bit of character, fight and passion, and that is the main thing really that we want to see, particularly after the week of what we have seen with Arsenal so far. The week has not been the greatest with the manner of defeat at Vicarage Road. But a win today, getting back to winning ways in the Premier League, keeping up in the pace for the top 4, and more importantly, we're level on points with Chelsea, and Chelsea are still kind of in the mix for the title. And Arsenal, I don't think we're going to win the Premier League title personally, but we're certainly in the the fight and the hunt for top 4 this season, which has to be our main priority. So let's get on to then the game at Goodison. Going into the game, over the years as well, kind of Godison Park has been a bit of a bogey place for us. We have got a fantastic record against Everton, but in recent seasons, I think of we went 2-0 down, drew 2-2 later on. Last season we lost to them 2-1 just before Christmas, and it was kind of the catalyst for Ronald Koeman's performance and how well they did last season. That game kind of set the benchmark for how well they did last season, and against Ronald Koeman, at times we've struggled. I remember losing to his Southampton team 4-0. So Ronald Koeman knows how to get results against Arsenal, and you could argue that this game was kind of between two managers under a little bit of pressure. Ronald Koeman particularly has got a bit more pressure, a lot more pressure than Arsene Wenger. I think if Arsenal had lost this game today, firstly, you wouldn't be surprised, and secondly, it'd probably be the same thing, that Arsenal just lack the character, the spirit, the Kahojis as has been thrown around this week. We lack all of that, away from home, trying to get results when the pressure's on. And for Everton, it kind of really was a must-win game, and it was a game that they really can't afford to lose. They knew that a defeat would send them into the bottom 3, and they currently are in the bottom 3. And after 9 games, that's not particularly, encouraging, and certainly is quite a scary place to be. Really, it's I would be extremely cautioned, and I'd be nervous if I was an Everton supporter. At the time we're recording this right now, Ron Koeman is still in the job. Whether he's going to be in the job by the end of tonight, it remains to be seen. I'm recording this just past 4 o'clock, which the game finished around about 45 minutes to an hour ago. The game finished, and Ronald Koeman at the minute is still in the Everton job. It will be interesting to see whether he is, come later on tonight and tomorrow morning. But it's concerning if you're an Everton fan right now. As for Arsenal going into it, looking at the team, I was very happy with the team. Obviously, he was going to put a lot of big players back in, because obviously, he's constantly rotating, to compensate with the Europa League. And, against Red Star, I didn't expect to see a lot of the big boys, against Red Star, and I certainly expect them to be back today. It was the first time we've actually seen Mesut Ozil, Alexis Sanchez and Alexandre Lacazette all start a game together, and they looked exceptionally well today. They looked very, very frightening up top, and they could trouble any Premier League defence. The link-up play between them 3 is just superb. The passing from Ozil was immaculate. Sanchez is just absolutely sensational, some of the things that he does. And Alexandre Lacazette finally nets his first Premier League away goal, and I think it was very important for him, because he's done really well at the Emirates, but away from home, you think of against Stoke, he had that goal wrongly disallowed. Against Liverpool, he was left on the bench and didn't cause any problems, and against Watford, he was really a shadow. He didn't really contribute anything to the game against Watford last Saturday, so it was really good to see him start actually kind of get and cement himself in that Arsenal attack and get himself a goal, more crucially. The game kicked off and Everton started with 3 at the back as well. I think they tried to match us, and I think Ronald Koeman's plan probably was to try and be physical and get in our face, but the problem is that Everton have just not got the confidence to do that at the minute, and we flew out the blocks first 10 minutes. We created chance upon chance upon chance, and I was sitting there saying it's only a matter of time before we actually get ourselves a goal, but we actually started the game in the worst possible way. Wayne Rooney, who just absolutely loves scoring against us. If anyone was going to score today for Everton, it was going to be Wayne Rooney. He absolutely just loves scoring against Arsenal. He's got 15 goals. It's the most goals he's scored have been against Arsenal. A questionable, it could have been a foul. Xhaka, it feels like he's got much more time on the ball than he actually has. Loses the ball, gets dispossessed by Idriss Gana Gueye, pass it into Rooney, and Rooney just does what he's best. You know, 3 Arsenal defenders sit off him, and he just goes for the shot just outside the penalty area, curves it into the top far hand left corner of the goal. Petr Cech can't save it. It's an unbeatable shot. No keeper's getting a hand to it, and it's a fantastic goal. And I was really, really frustrated, but kind of I was quite. It kind of was quite laughable, really. I found it quite comedic, to be perfectly honest, because I thought we've actually absolutely dominated the first 10-12 minutes. You know, we've been absolutely all over Everton, and then we go 1-0 down just like that. You know, our first defensive error, first mistake, and Wayne Rooney gets in to score. And I was thinking, right, let's just calm down, boys, relax. And, you know, a goal was going to come if we keep playing the way that we are, you know, keep going the way that we're going. You know, we've had 7 shots, they've scored with their first, you know, opportunity. Just keep going, keep it tight, keep, you know, passing it around, you know, causing Everton problems, and we'll get ourselves the goal nonetheless. And Jordan Pickford before had made a couple of incredible, absolutely remarkable saves to keep Everton into the game. But there was a moment in the first half, I'd say, between as soon as Rooney scored and just before we get our equaliser, where there was an element of frustration, where things were just not going particularly well. Passes were, you know, constantly getting cut out. You know, Pickford was making incredible saves. Everton were holding on, and you know, you just had the sense that they were just going to get one more counter attack and make it 2-0, and then like that, you know, you're sitting there thinking, how on earth we're 2-0 down? But luckily, we stifled a little bit Everton's kind of ruthlessness and kind of them trying to frustrate us, and you know, in the end, our quality and firepower was just too much. The equaliser comes just before half time. Granit Xhaka gets into a little bit of space. Granit Xhaka was a potent figure for Arsenal today. It goes for the shot, Pickford saves it, falls straight back to Nacho Monreal, who tucks in the rebound and then curves it into the right-hand corner to give us the goal just before half-time to make it 1-1. And, you know, Monreal scored against Brighton. You know, he scored in the FA Cup semi-final last season in that left wing-back role, or in the left centre-back role, sorry, Kolasinac in the left wing-back role, Monreal in that left centre-back role. But he's adventurous because as he's a left-back, he has that attacking prowess in him, and he has that attacking rhythm that throws for him, and he just loves to venture and get into those, you know, attacking wide channels into the right-hand side, and he does it really, really, really well. Now, you could argue that you want your 3 centre-backs to stay back and stay compact, but he just has that, you know, that attacking presence, that attacking feel, and loves to get into these, you know, adventurous positions, and, you know, if he keeps playing his card right, he's going to get himself a couple of goals, and he gets himself and gets a vital goal, an unexpected goal from your left centre-back, but a great goal nonetheless to get us back into the game. And I think it was absolutely vital that we got that goal just before half-time, because at 1-1, we're controlling the game, we're dominating the game. We've had so many attempts, so many chances, and you just thought, if Everton going at 1-0, they can regroup, you know, park 10 behind the ball, sit, you know, at the back, you know, try and soak up Arsenal's pressure and hit us on the counter. At 1-1, they've really got to go for it, because a draw for them is just not good enough whatsoever. They have to get the win. So, you know, you knew that they were going to venture out and try and get into attacking, you know, opportunities. Ronald Koeman changes this shape, goes back to a back 4 because he takes off Ashley Williams for Tom Davies. Williams picked up a yellow card, and he's been certainly at the limelight of, you know, the controversy, particularly what happened in the Europa League on Thursday night against Lyon. He's brought off at half-time, and coincidentally last season he scored the winning goal at Godison Park when Everton faced Arsenal in December. But Tom Davies comes on, and in the second half we just step up the gear, and we absolutely, I think, you know, our attacking threat, our attacking promise, and our firepower that we have up front is just too much for Everton. They switch to back 4, but they just can't contain it. It's only a matter of time. We have chance after chance after chance. Jordan Pickford makes saves, Everton makes, you know, defensive blocks, and then finally we get the breakthrough. A lovely ball down the left-hand side into Alexis Sanchez. He crosses it in. Ozil is in the centre, not being picked up. Beats his man, heads it in for 2-1. And then at this point, things are starting to look very encouraging for Arsenal, because we've got ourselves back in front. We've got the lead. We're dominating the game. Now we could either do one or two things. Either we can sit back, stick with what we have, you know, be defensive, you know, try and, you know, be frustrating. You know, normally we get frustrated, but now we can become the frustrators. And either Arsene Wenger could have told his Arsenal team to sit back and defend, but Everton just weren't showing the attacking fire required to do that. Like, they weren't causing us problems. So it allowed us just to control the game, keep, you know, majority of the ball, create chances. Everton tried to hit us on the counter-attack, and they couldn't do it, and they just couldn't stomach our attacking fire, particularly as we were controlling the game and dominating the game. They just couldn't get a handle onto it. The third goal comes, a lovely play once again. Ramsey down the right-hand side, passes it into Ozil. Ozil lays it back to Alexandre Lacazette, who is free in the centre. You aren't going to pick him up. You know, and if you allow Alexandre Lacazette to be in the space in the middle of the pitch with no one marking him, and he's just going to finish, he's just going to do what Alexandre Lacazette does best and scores a fabulous goal. It is game over, and also more importantly, Idrissa Gana Gueye gets sent off for a second yellow card, picked up a yellow card in the first half, and you know, when you're on a yellow card, you can't go in. He goes in to try and take the ball off Granit Xhaka, misses the ball, gets the man, it's a yellow card. You know, Ronald Koeman's not complaining. You know, he's not complaining. You can't do that. You're on a yellow card. You can't make a cynical challenge like that again. And you're thinking, right, you Everton are down to 10 men. We're 3-1. You know, we've got 3 goals to the good. We've only conceded 1. And now it is just game over. It becomes a very comfortable affair and a very comfortable game in the last 20 minutes. And then the goals keep coming. A ball goes in, you know, from Jack Wilshere, who comes on in place of Mesut Ozil. Mesut Ozil had a fabulous game, by the way. Scored 1. Assisted 1, he comes off, Jack Wilshere comes on, passes it into Ramsey. Ramsey turns, lovely bit of run, and then drills it into the bottom left-hand corner to make it 4-1. And then just before the 90th minute, Alexis Sanchez doing what Alexis Sanchez does best. Fantastic Arsenal goal. Gets it down the left-hand side, runs in, goes past 3, 4, 5, 6 Everton defenders. They can't get near him. He goes round, he turns it, and then he just skimmies it and shoots it into the left-hand corner, passes Pickford to make it 5-1. And it was one of those games where, you know, you could argue that Everton, if they had a bit more attacking fire and a bit more promise, then, you know, potentially, you know, they could have, you know, caused a little bit of an upset. But our attacking power and our attacking promise was just too much for Everton to handle. Before I actually went 5-1, it actually was 4-2. A ridiculous mistake, and this is the only kind of concerning parts that do concern me is Monreal plays a back pass into Petr Cech, and it was just an awful back pass. I don't know what Monreal was thinking. Cech can't get it, and Niasse, who's come on for Calvert-Lewin, who had a couple of decent moments himself. Cech loses the ball, and Niasse just has to tap him. Fair enough to Niasse, because, you know, he just does what he used to do. It's on a plate for him, on a platter, and he just serves the platter. But, you know, if you're going for the top 4, you can't make these defensive errors, because had the game been a tight affair, had been contested, and we were just holding off for 2-1, and that goal goes in, you know, in the 90th minute to make it 2-2, we dropped 2 points. You know, Arsenal fans, and, you know, most rightly so, would be absolutely fuming and you know, rightly fuming, because it was just an absolute howler. And Petr Cech did that twice there when he nearly gave the ball away early in the first half. And it was just, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. Petr Cech just didn't do that at Chelsea. I don't know why he's doing it now. He makes a lot of defensive errors at the minute, and it's concerning to see. Granit Xhaka, on the other hand, a little bit concerning. There are moments where, you know, he's great, he had his chance, he hit the post, great, you know, he's got an absolute wicked left foot on him, and the ball goes in and he hits the post, but he has great moments like that. You know, he links up, breaks up the play, goes on the attack, and you think, right, this is great from Granit Xhaka. But then he has moments where he just thinks he's got too much time in the middle of the park in the final third, and he doesn't get dispossessed, and arguably is at fault for the goal that Rooney scores in the 12th minute. I don't know what Jack Wilshere also has to do to start a Premier League game. You know, he's been absolutely brilliant when he came on. He looked vigorous, he looked aggressive, and you know, we haven't got Santi Cazorla. Maybe, I think in the middle of the park we're missing someone that of quality that Jack Wilshere has. You won't get what Jack Wilshere brings to the team. You know, he's aggressive, he'll have a fight, he'll dig in, you know, he's creative, he can see a pass, you know, he can see a ball, he can create chances, and I think Arsene Wenger really should give him the debut and start that he, you know, deserves, and, you know, should really be having. How you know, Xhaka and Ramsey are ahead of him. You know, I'd say keep Xhaka in the side, because I think Xhaka gives us a little bit of that nastiness in midfield, even though he makes a lot of defensive mistakes. But, you know, Jack Wilshere is just playing very, very well. He's injury free at the minute, and that is quite a rarity in itself. So I think Jack Wilshere needs to be in the side and starting for the Gunners, and you know, can cause any kind of team any sorts of problems. And I don't understand why has Arsene Wenger not played Ozil, Lacazette and Sanchez sooner, because they look absolutely brilliant You know, Ozil, you can question his mentality, you can question sometimes is his head in the right place, but you can't question what he brings to this Arsenal team. He's an assist machine, he creates chances, he's scoring goals, he's absolutely fabulous. Alexis Sanchez is just so great, and Alexandre Lacazette, with that support behind him, just looks an even better striker. And I really think Arsene Wenger needs to keep in the Premier League these front three and get a run of games going with these front three, because they could hurt any kind of Premier League defence in their wake. They were absolutely superb today. My main concern is just defensively. Defensively, we look naive. You know, at times it looks like that we can get beaten off the ball. We can get bullied very, very easily. And, you know, going forward, I don't think we have any problems whatsoever. It's just that, you know, that defensive unit. I mean, at times, Everton, who have been as poor as they has been, you know, at times look dangerous. And, you know, we need to eradicate that from our game. If we can tighten up our defensive stability and, you know, work on, you know, maybe, you know, killing teams off earlier than we actually do, then we're a threat and we're a danger to anyone. And today we played absolutely, you know, just brilliantly. You know, 5-2 away from home is never easy, despite how bad Everton have been. You know, we showed character and guts and you know, the Cajonjis, you know, going 1-0 down, getting back into the game. Although I've been absolutely shocked. I would have been so surprised if we hadn't got anything other than a win from this game, because we absolutely played so well. We dominated, we created chances. We had 28 chances to Everton's 7 in the end of the game. I mean, away from home, that is staggering. That is absolutely staggering. You know, we go from, you know, 1-1 to 4-1, concede the second, but then get the Alexis Sanchez getting that 5th goal right at the end to seal the game. And, you know, we're up into the top 5. We're level on points with Chelsea, you know, 16 points. Yes, you know, we're still far off Manchester City. You know, we're 9 points off the top of the Premier League table, but honestly, I just don't think we've got the quality and, you know, we're good enough to challenge for the Premier League title. So I think top 4 is the necessity that we need. We need to challenge for the top 4, and we've got a nice run of games. I mean, we've got Manchester City coming up on Bonfire. That is going to be an absolute huge encounter, and the North London derby coming up. So we need to get 3 points. We've got Swansea next Saturday in the Premier League. We need to get 3 points, and if we can get 4 or 5 points, if we get a draw and a win, or 2 draws against Man City and Tottenham, then, you know, we're in a good, you know, chance. But we've got to get a nice run of games going before we face those 2 big games, because those 2 big, you know, games could define where our season goes. And, you know, at the minute we're back on track. You know, the slip up against Watford, you know, was poor, but we beat Red Star in, you know, even though that was a completely different team and it wasn't the greatest game to watch, but we get the win there. We've now got a 5-2 comprehensive win. We've got Carabao Cup action against Norwich on Tuesday night. Then we play Swansea. Then we're back against Red Star in the Europa League. So, incidentally, we could, you know, if we win our next kind of 3 games before the Manchester City game, we're going to have a good run of games going behind our belt before we take on Manchester City in that absolute huge encounter on Bonfire Night. It really is, you know, probably our biggest game of the season so far. But we're back to winning ways. We played very, very well. We dominated. We created so many chances. You know, we absolutely destroyed Everton from minute 1 to minute 90. A couple of hairy moments, a couple of defensive mistakes. But all in all, it was a fabulous performance. And my boys are back to winning ways just as I want them to be. That is going to be the end of the video for this one. I think I've covered all of the points. Thank you so much for the support that you're showing on this series. I'm going to be bringing out my Living in the Prem series. I'm going to be doing a couple of specials on that coming up very soon. And I've also got a Bagpuss Uncut video coming up. We're 4 subscribers away from 100 subscribers. That will be absolutely amazing if we can hit that before my 19th birthday on the 12th of November. I've also got a Halloween video coming up. So there's a lot of stuff on my channel as well. I love these Analysing Arsenal videos. You know, as I said, you know, these are the videos I don't edit. I just record them, upload them onto my computer, onto YouTube. And I like them because it's a way of me kind of talking to you like I would talk to you guys at like a pub, or just speaking to you casually, and just that instant feedback, that instant response for the game that I have seen of my beloved Arsenal play. So you guys also really seem to enjoy this series, so keep up the support. You guys are absolutely amazing. Leave a like if you enjoyed this, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and this is DJ Bagpuss signing out. Until next time, I shall speak to you later, and I will rejoin you again for Analysing Arsenal on Tuesday night in the Carabao Cup when we take on Norwich at the Emirates. See you all very, very soon. Take care.